Hello everyone and welcome back to UE5 VP Guru. Welcome to our members series for the Pokemon multiplayer. First things first, I apologize for the lack of videos over the last few days. I've had some of my own project issues, which are only just sort of getting back to normal now. So I haven't really had a lot of time to produce a video. So I do apologize, but we should be back to normal now. We're going to start with capturing in this first area because I just think that we could potentially get a fair bit done in that sort of area and get people building teams, which I'm sure a lot of people are excited about. The first thing we need to do is, as I mentioned in the previous episode, we would have to go back and fill out the information for the capture side of things. So we're just going to go and open up this struct to begin with. We've got to set up a lot of this stuff. So we've got, is it a master ball, which is something we will definitely need to know. We also need to know the ball figure. We also need to know the ball modification. And you also may want to know the type of ball. So you probably remember Pokemon has a lot of different balls, and a lot of these balls will basically have a different effect depending on the typing. So we'll put in the typing. No, we want to know the type. There should be a strip for this. There it is. So E Pokemon type. And then that way we can also create balls based on whether they're grass, fire, water. Like we have the dive ball as an example. You could have a typing on that obviously will check to see if it's the same typing as the Pokemon we're trying to catch. So save that. Once you're done, we can go back into our item info and we can set this up for the Pokeball. Now, if I remember correctly, the Pokeball, is 255 on the ball figure and it is 12 on the C mod. If you're setting up Great Balls and Ultra Balls, I think they are 8 on the ball modification. I can't remember what the figure is, but you can find it with a quick and easy Google. So that's our Pokeball setup. The next thing we're going to want to do is we can close down a lot of this stuff now. We won't need much of this, to be honest, now that that's set up. What we're going to need to do is we're going to start with the widget, the battle widget, just to get it set up to show the actual types of balls down here. It's a very similar setup to our attacking active. Let me just get set up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is go to our designer. Now, mine's set up very differently, so we're going to need to set our inventory up slightly differently to how I've set mine up in the past. Now, I set mine up with a capture slot and a bag slot for usable items, but Pokemon, it does it all from just one inventory. So I've been trying to decide what to do about this. So I'm actually going to get rid of the capture slot, I think. And what we're going to do is set up a scroll box that will just find all the items we can either use or capture with. So the first thing we're going to want to do is here we're going to get a scroll box. And we'll just plug it in here. It is roughly 200 across. We'll make it an even 200. And, or do I want it a bit bigger than that? No, I'm going to say 200 is fine. Make it around 150. And we're going to put a image behind it. So this image is going to be purely just for this scroll box. just so we kind of know where it's going to be. Like so. Make sure it goes, the scroll box goes under the image, so that the scroll box is, anything at the bottom here will be on the top. So just make sure to do that. We're going to set the tint to black, and we'll set it to 0.5. This annoys me because my buttons are not set to the same size. It's fine. We can fix that. It's purely a visual thing. Okay, so in the scroll box, what we want to do is we want the system now to run through our inventory and find any items that are either usable or capture items. I might keep the buttons the same actually, but I'm going to allow, because mine's different to Pokemon, but Pokemon obviously you can use any items that are of that type. So if you're capturing, you can have access to all of your capture items. We'll do the same. So we'll allow all of our capture items to appear. So what we're going to need to do now is set up another widget. This is going to be, we'll call this item slot widget. And we need it to be size 200. So open that up. We're going to get a canvas panel. We're going to make it a custom size. And that custom size is going to be 200. And possibly, I'd say 20 is a good size. So we can have a fair few in our scroll box appear if we need them to. So to make this look nice, we're just going to get an image. And we'll make it the same size. So 220. Oh, I did the wrong. Oops. 220. There we go. We'll make it a gray color just so it stands out a bit. We can also make it rounded. There we go, just so it kind of looks a little bit nicer. I'm also tempted to make this actually like 18 and bring it down. We'll start in position 1. Nope, wrong one. There we go. So it sits in the middle. You'll have a little bit of space in between them as well. We need to put a button on the top of this, but we're not going to add that in just yet because we want to get our text on. This is going to be an invisible button, basically. So get a text, and we'll put the text at the top. Bring it down a little bit here, and we'll set the font to try 12. 12 works, I guess. Yeah, it kind of works. Bring it over here so it doesn't sit weird. And just for argument's sake, let's change this to Pokeball. That looks good to me. And then we're going to put another one at the end here. Make it roughly that sort of size. And again, we'll set it to about 12. That should work, I guess. And we'll set this to times 999. I think that needs to be smaller, to be honest. And we want to set it to middle. No. Maybe if I just bring it down a bit. I wanted it to be more in the middle, but that's fine. It's just that we have an item we can use. We'll call this item name. Set this as a variable, and we'll call this quantity. Set that to a variable so that we can get access to both of these. And now we can bring our button back up. And we're going to make this the whole length. It also needs to sit on the top so that the text doesn't get in the way. So move that button to about here. There we go. And for normal, we're just going to basically set everything to invisible. If you really want to, you could set hover to like 0.2, just so you still see the button and you know you're hovering over the correct item. And then press, we'll just set that also to invisible. You can set your style to whatever you want. This is purely just for us to take a look at. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to get it so that when we click on, in this example, capture, we'll do the capture button. When we press capture, we want this to get all of our capture items and build that inventory up. So if we go to the event graph, we can pull this out. We'll do on clicked, like so. And we'll be using that down the line. And what we want to do is we want to get our third person character reference, like so. And we're going to get inventory. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, for each loop, because we want to run through our whole inventory. We don't want to break this. And we want to say break. We want to break. We want to get data table row, like so. And the data table will be our item info. And we want to say break again. We want to say, is the item type equal? No, wrong equal. We want the equal enum. Does it equal a capture item? And if it does, we want it to. Oh, what's this? What's wrong with this? Warning: item structure cannot be broken using generic break node. Try using spatialized break function if available. Why can't you be broken? That's very strange. Is not compiled. Oh, it's because we've made a change to that information. So if we go back to our inventory, I think it's this one. No, not that one. It's got to be this one. Compile. That's fine. So that one's fine. I get the feeling it's because we need to do this and then do this. It's the weirdest bug. I think I've mentioned this to other people in the past. It's a really, really bizarre bug. But it should be fine now. Right, okay. So now that we've determined that it's a capture item, what we want to do is we want to create a widget. And that widget is going to be that item slot widget we just created. We're going to get our scroll box. We might need to make the scroll box a variable. We do. So we'll say this is our items SB, our item scroll box. And we're going to grab that item scroll box and we're going to add child. And that child is going to be that widget we just created, like so. Now, what we also need to do is we need to set the data inside of this slot. So we're going to get the item name. We're also going to get the quantity. And we're going to set the text for both of these, like so. Now, let's set the text for this one as well. so, and plug those in. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, this item, this capture item here, is in our inventory. It is a capture item, so we want to add it to our scroll box. And then what we want to do is we want to get our quantity and plug that into here. There is another step we need to do before we do this, but this is just purely for testing at this point. And just do that basically. That's what we're doing when we click on capture button. Now there is a little bit of things, there is a bit of stuff we need to do before we do this, which is our normal stuff that we did in our attacking here. So we need to just check things like, is there move weight? Is well, in this instance, we'll check to see if the capture is active. And if it isn't active, we're going to obviously set those move slots to hidden because we want to set the scroll box to visible. So we're going to just copy and paste a lot of this down because, again, it will all be needed. What we're going to do is we're going to drag this out. We're going to plug this into here. We need to create a new variable. So we'll just add one here, and we'll call this capture active. We're going to plug that into here to make sure it isn't active. If it isn't active, we're going to set it to true. And if it isn't active, we're going to swap that around to this one. Now, if the attack is active and the capture slot isn't, we need to deactivate the capture. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set up a new function. This is going to be kind of like a active switch. So we'll just call it active switch. And all you need to do for this one, this will make swapping your booleans around a lot easier and a lot faster, is every time we make a new one, we'll plug it into our active switch. And this will just allow us to swap things over a lot quicker. So when we go back to our event graph, for example, if we make a little bit added space, we'll need to keep making added space as and when we add new ones, because we'll have a few of these. We can just basically plug this into here, get rid of that, and set this to true. It will automatically set everything else to false. If we find we need to set 2 active, we can set 2 to true and the rest false. That shouldn't ever be the case in this example, but that was just more an example if you ever had the switch. So we'll set both of these to false, we'll set that one to true. And we need to swap this over in the attack as well, so that we have this also doing the same thing under this one. We shouldn't ever need to change the attack again. It's more, oh gosh, what is happening? It's more down the line ones where we'll need to add more stuff in, but these ones now shouldn't need changing now that they are correct here. So that's our active switch done. We've added in the check here. So again, if it's false, we can then build this. Now we will need to set the visibility of our scroll box. So if we grab our scroll box, wherever it is, item scroll box, and we'll just copy and paste this one. And when we click on capture, we just want this to become visible. There's another thing we also want to become visible. I don't think I've set it up correctly yet, though. Let's just go back and have a look. It is this image box. We'll call this scroll box image. It is already a variable, so that's good. And we'll just grab out the, oh gosh, where is it? There it is, and do that. Now, we also want these two to be hidden if this is active. This is the only when using items and capture items, this will be the only time that these are visible. So with that, we can do a little bit of testing now and just see if this is created. Let's have a look. So we'll need to grab some items. Let's go and have a look. And we'll need to grab a Pokemon. Grab good old Bulbasaur. Call him Dave. Call him Dave. There we go. And we can see if this is now working. Okay, there's Bulbasaur. We got our Bulbasaur. I haven't got enough space on the screen. So let's close that down like that. So this is actually still visible. So I haven't set that to hidden. So that was my mistake. When we click on capture though, you can see that we now have our Pokeball and it highlights to show that we are over it. And it tells us we have 5. So that's a good start. We have our capture items being displayed down. And because this is in a scroll box, if we had 20 different balls on us, we could just scroll down and find them. So very, very useful. And if we click on it again, it hides. Oh, so one thing there, I found a bug. That's good. Before we finish this episode, what we need to do is when we say it is true, before we build this, actually, this is probably the best place to put it. Before we run through this for each loop, we're going to take this item scroll box and we're going to clear children. And what that will do is allow us to basically remove that inventory and rebuild it. And that will fix our scroll box. So now when I click on it again, we'll get this tested one more time. Click enter. Yes. Oh, I didn't call him Dave. I feel bad now. I didn't call him Dave. So let's jump up here, enter all these, pick them all up, and jump into here like so. And let's give it a whirl. There it is. I forgot to set them to hidden again, but you just need to make sure to set them to hidden. It's not too bad. We'll click on capture again, and there it is. If I click on it again, click on it again, click on it again, we still have the same amount of Pokeballs. Now, all we need to do for bag is actually the same thing, but instead of looking for capture items, we're looking for usable items. And if we click on that, we'll have the same thing, exactly the same, just build it. And it should come up with all the items you have in your bag. I don't want this episode to go on too long, but I thought I might as well do that as we're here. So let's get the bag button. Click on clicked. And we can literally just copy and paste all of this code. Literally, it can all be the same. Copy and paste and plug it in. What we're going to do is create another variable, and we'll call this inventory active. And then all we need to do is change this one to inventory and open up our active switch. Add in this wonderful inventory. Go back to the event graph. Click inventory active to true. Make sure these two are false. And change this one to usable items. And that should be that setup as well now. So again, one final test. And we should be good to go. And that will set us up ready to basically start using items and also using capture items. Let's just do that and we'll jump into a battle. Hopefully we won't need to touch items for a little while because we need to set up a few other bits before we can add that in. So if we go into this, we got our potions. If we click on capture, we got Pokeballs and vice versa. So we can now build our usable items and our capture items. And yeah, we should be good to go. The only thing we need to do now is change. Where is it? Go into the widget, click on these two and set them to hidden. And same for the scroll box, do the same thing, set that to hidden. And the last thing we're going to do in this episode today is where we have this, we're going to need to add this also to all of our bits here. So the reason we need to do that is because if we go to attacking from capturing, we'll have that scroll box still active. So basically, anytime we are changing inventories, we need to make sure we're hiding everything that we expect to be hidden. So yeah, hopefully this episode's made a lot of sense to you guys. If you have any questions, don't forget to join the Discord. You can enter the members only area and ask me any questions you like. I'm more than happy to help you and answer them. And yeah, hopefully that made sense. In the next episode, we're going to start coding the actual using items. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Take care. Bye.